Okay, now culture. When we talk about culture, usually I have a bunch of cartoons and I show culture. I might find those and bring them in. But what I try to do, and if you have anything like this, send it to me. I find cartoons and things that are on the wall. Usually it doesn't have an author with it. And so I found one at a plant that we might know. And it said, it showed a big target, like a test target. It says, it says, this is a test. This is only a test. Had this been an actual job, you'd receive raises, promotions, and other signs of appreciation. And so I thought that was hilarious, you know, and things like that. But you can tell the culture of an organization by what they put on their wall. Okay? Their attitudes about what they put on their wall, how much they like working there. All right, let's see. Now, if we were going to look at culture in let's say we dug up a city and we're looking for signs of the culture there, a lot of this we would look for. We'd look for something like artifacts and symbols, right? What's the artifacts and symbols in your company? Time cards, name tags on the door, name tags on parking places, executive washrooms, you know, maybe something like that. That existed somewhere. But, you know, it used to exist all over the place in bigger cities, and on and on and on. But those are the symbols and artifacts that tell you what that company's like, right? Okay, what's the next thing? Language. Could be different foreign languages. Could be the way the person speaks who is the accountant versus the person who's an engineer. Could be the person on the floor versus the person in the office. There's different languages that we use that sometimes builds barriers. Okay? Sometimes brings people together. So subcultures, accounting, engineering, the laborer, you know, just whatever. There's different people. Sometimes they'll get their little group together and go eat, or get the little group together and go do something together. Maybe it could be like races. There's blacks and Hispanics and white people, and they won't eat together. And so subcultures make up culture. Underlying assumptions. Oh man, you know, all women are crazy. That's an underlying assumption that some men have. And women are, you know, men are just out for one thing, and they're just hard to get along with. You can't trust them. And so there's underlying assumptions, right? And so, I mean, so far everybody agreed with everything I said. So it's like, all right. But anyway, patterns of behavior. Get up, go to work a certain time, go home a certain time, eat a certain time. Everybody does certain things at certain times, you know, or whatever. There's different patterns of behavior. This is probably the most important thing, the values. The values will come out of the community, out of the country, the community. It will come out of the family. It'll help hold the workforce up, or help push the workforce down. Values is the most important thing, and it leads to the other thing, the worldview. There's a Christ-centered worldview, there's a Muslim worldview, there's a poor worldview, and then there's a rich worldview. If you come from a really rich family, you're seeing things that really poor family people struggle to see. And if you're coming from a worldview that everything's poor and there's lack, then you're looking at that. If you're a Democrat, you know, chances are you have a worldview. If you're a Republican, you have a worldview. If you're feminist, you have a worldview. If you're homosexual, you have a worldview. So there's all kinds of things that the values affect. And so worldview is sometimes important. And the thing about it is, we all judge people by the way we are, not by the way they are. Does that make sense? Related to underlying assumptions. You go walk down the road and you see somebody you never met, and that person is this way. That's you. That's not them. You know, it's your experience, it's not them. You never met them. And I guarantee you see me at different times, and you'll have different opinions of me. I mean, when I was on the farm, people said, well, you don't look like a farmer, you don't act like a farmer. And in different places, you know, I was saying, you you don't fit in here either. I don't fit in anywhere. but that's just a joke. I fit in everywhere. But you can look at me at different times when I'm painting, or when I'm going to pick up something and been mowing all day, or get up in the morning and I have to wear a hat because my hair is this way. You can look at me at different times and have different opinions if that's the first time you saw me. All right, so now, networks and principles of reciprocity. Say that for me again. I can't say it. Prosperity. Okay, well, that's close enough. Anyway, I tell everybody, he says, you know what, I'm getting old enough where I'm neither nearsighted or farsighted now. I'm bad eyes both ways, and I have dyslexia, so I can't even say words right. So it's kind of like, you ever feel that way? Like nearsighted, farsighted, and have dyslexia, so therefore nothing works. Okay, so anyway, what you're doing here is you're trying to trade on your power as a manager, and these are some of the currency. There's resources that you have access to. There's assistance, there's information, there's recognition, there's visibility, there's advancement, there's personal support, and there's understanding. Somebody will listen to you, just have somebody listen to them. Understand it. Okay, now you have to build networks in order to find your next job and find your next promotion and everything else. The more people you network with, the better it is for you, especially if you're sales. But you're all in sales. Okay? Building currency. Think of people who are potentially ally or can network with you. Get to know your allies, their pressures, their needs, and their goals so you can help them reach that. And then know your own strengths and weaknesses so you can actually add something. Right? I'm a really good engineer. And so I can help people do that stuff. Right? Think win-win. How can I give you what you need and get what I need? And that's just, part of management.